What's your self-talk? How you doing? My name is Jabari, and I have the pleasure coming to you every Tuesday and asking you that one question. What's your self-talk? So what does unlikely events, distant future, and mental illness have anything to do? That's what we're going to dive in today. So if you're new here, once again, I'm Jabari McGlennon, and I come to you every Tuesday and ask you that one question. What's your self-talk? And I ask you that because I want you to identify yourself with more of the growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. Because when you have a growth mindset, you choose to take the necessary actions and the steps that you need to take to start getting the results that you want in life. And in order to do that, you have to seek the correct knowledge and you have to act on it. So I always ask you, what's your self-talk? Positive, negative, good, bad, fixed, or growth? And so what we're going to do is dive in today is understanding how we can tap in more of the creative side of our brain, but also why that's important for our future and how that is related to mental illness. So I know that brings up something interesting, and it's related to some news that's been related on social media and just kind of throughout the world. So before I get into that, I'm curious to know something. What do you do to keep your mental peace of mind? So to keep this thing up here, what do you do? I'm curious. I work out a lot. I love to work out. Make sure I do it first thing in the morning because it helps the day go by. And sometimes I don't always get in the morning, but I get it in throughout the day. And part of that is just because it keeps me mentally peace at mind with myself. And also it allows me to be able to go about the day and to take in any challenges that's going to happen throughout the day and not let it really get me down or really frustrate me. So what do you do? It's some other things I'm going to do. I'm going to share that throughout today. So I just want you to comment below. You don't have to give a long illustration. You can tell me, like, maybe you like to work out. Maybe you like to read a book. Maybe you like to take a walk. What are those things that you do that are very helpful for you? So, and like I said, we'll dive into some today. All right. So make sure you answer those questions, even if you're on replay. So I got to tell you how I came about this topic. So first segment, we're going to talk about the unlikely events. And why do we need to focus on the unlikely events? I ran across this. I was reading this magazine, and it's called The Science of Personality. And I find it so unique. We have so much information that's being released out today in front of us. And I make a goal of mine to see, okay, what is the right information that I want to process off of, and how can I use that for myself, and then come to share with you with that today. So while I was reading this magazine, The Science of Personality, and then they said, how do you boost your creativity? And if you know, you've been following me through my blog, I talk a lot about creativity. If you don't know more about that, please message me. I'll tell you more about my blog that I'm doing. But when you realize it's something that you can do to become more creative, you're like, okay, so what is something that I can do? So in this magazine, they went into an article and they said one thing that they encourage adults to do. It was different for children, but one thing they encourage adults to do is to encourage them to think about unlikely events. Now, why would they want you to look at unlikely events? Well, because first of all, they will force you to see what's going on in the world. What is going on around us? And what are the things that are affecting us as human beings? And I think that's very important. Like, we try to look over that and when we want to ignore the things. And yes, don't get me wrong. It comes to a certain extent where I do not want to, just constantly dive into a whole bunch of negative stuff and what's going wrong. And if it's something consistently, especially in politics, it's always something going on. I don't want to really look into that because there's only so much that I can do. I can say I will speak up, and you need to be able to speak up and say what you stand for. But after a while, it's like, I don't need to see that every single day. I just don't. I know the results of it, and I understand the outcomes most of the time. Okay. So looking at unlikely events also allow you to practice creativity. And that's one of the things I'm going to start going into here in a minute. But just think about it this way. When you look at something that is not happy, it's not something that you wanted to focus on. What I'm going to get into the next session is how do you figure out what the distant future is going to be like? And then what is the thing that you need to do? See, I believe we as human beings are here to be a service and help other people. But if we do not put ourselves in a position to see what are some of the relevant information that is out there and see what we can do to become better as human beings to help others, then I think that we are being a disservice to ourselves and our community and to our city and to our world. And we need more people who's going to be willing to step out and do the hard work and is going to do the things that other people are not going to want to do and take responsibility. My voice is just as much, is not no more or less important than your voice. You have to step out, even if you just need help. Just say that, okay? So, before I go on, I want you to make sure you like this page. If you've always followed me or you like the content that I put out, if you just like the energy that I have, whatever. I love your comments. I love people send me messages. Just make sure you like this page. Just go ahead, like the page or subscribe to YouTube, all right? Now, the next thing I want you to answer is, again, what are the healthy mental practices that you do for a healthy peace of mind? What do you do to have that healthy peace of mind? What are the things you do? So just type below. Whether that work out, read a book, spend time with family, hang out in a social setting. What are those things? And it don't have to be. You can maybe have a lot of things that you do, but just list one. Just list one. So for me, I've said workout, and you see me on my page, and everything that I do, I always post me working out because I think of you. I think about how I wanted to let you know, hey, I pushed through it, and I had to push through it because I have to realize that I have to continue to keep this intact, because if I keep this intact and I continue to tell myself the right things and I act off the right things, which is important. You can tell yourself the right things, but then also you have to act on the right things that you need to do. And I always don't feel right, but I need to do it. So all that to say, I want you to tell me what is one thing that you do to keep a mental healthy peace of mind. All right. Now, so the next section, we're going to, so I told you, we look at unlikely events that boost the creativity, that allows you to start looking at things that are going on around you, how you can be of service to others. Now, second session is the reason you do that is because you want to understand what the distant future will look like. So looking at unlikely events and then understand what the distant future will look like. And this is important because you have to see what problem will occur because of this unlikely event. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you more about a specific example that I had. So understanding that anytime an unlikely event happens, that will affect us in some way, form, or fashion in the future. And that is why so many different companies come into play. That's why so many people become more popular, is because change is always coming. And in order for you to accept the change, you have to be willing to see what the distant future is going to look like, and how you are going to adjust and what you're going to do to make sure that you are contributing to the change in a good way. And that's why I love my show. That's exactly why I come to you every week, and to give you good, clean, positive encouragement so that you can move forward in life and understand, like, you're not alone. Like, I have a community of people that's here that are struggling with that. I've had struggles with that. We all have our areas of life that we're struggling with. But my goal is to let you know you're not alone. We all struggle. We have bad days. I didn't have an awesome day today. But at the end of the day, you have to realize is that that's part of it. But what are the things that you're doing on your day-to-day basis that's going to contribute to something more bigger and better off into the future? So that's why you look at those unlikely events and then you say, what does the distant future look like? And you need to talk it out and you need to write it out. When you realize, like, okay, well, this has happened, what are friends that I can call and talk to? Who are the people that I can reach out to? What about spouses or church friends or whatever, whoever you need to do to talk to? All journaling. It's real good to be able to journal, to jog your creative brain, because that's exactly why I tapped into this. I wanted to see how you boost your creativity. And how you boost your creativity is first look at unlikely events and then look at the distant future is going to look like. And the only reason that we do that is because you want to see what are the things you need to do in order to make a difference in the lives of yourself and others. All right. So what I want you to do, make sure that when we go into the next one, because it's going to get a little deep and I want to make sure that I catch you and understand that this is important for you to understand and what's going to be the mental illness and why this is something that's really starting to rise up, I believe, right now, and why it's important to talk about it. All right. So before we go into that, I still want you to like this page, comment below. Let me know what you think and about this show, what are some improvements I can make, or if you just love it, you like it, and also to just let me know what is the one thing that you do to keep a healthy peace of mind. Okay? What is the one thing that you do? Like I said, mine was working out. All right. So unlikely events, distant future, and mental illness. Now, mental illness is something very serious. And I want to make sure you understand why this is important to address, is because we are in a world of social media where people connect more on the phone than they do in person. And I do believe it's important to start having good, authentic relationships. And that's one of the reasons that I drive so hard at What's Your Self-Talk, is because you need to capture those good thoughts and those bad thoughts. And then you need to find out if you need help, ask for help. Because if you have bad thoughts and you just let them sit there, then you're doing yourself a disservice. But also, you're hurting yourself because you think you have to hold it in. You have to make it seem like all is well and all is okay. And mental illness can lead to a variety of things. And mental illness is just simply just you just contemplating on things that you have to do and become overwhelming. And it will lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety, and sometimes it can lead to suicidal thoughts. Now, I know that is probably not you, and it's not ever me, but that's one thing that I start to realize, is that it's a lot of people that are struggling because they think they have to hold it all in. Here was a fact by the CDC, is that it's the estimate in 2013 that 9.3 million adults report of having thoughts of committing suicide within the last year. So, first is that I want you to make sure you reach out and ask for help. That is absolutely important. And now I'll have a doctor on my show next week that's going to talk about more what are the things that you can do to not be able to get in those type of funks. But these are some things that I know for sure that will help out if you are somebody who you just struggle with, having confidence in yourself, or you just struggle with going through the day and just doing the things you need to do, because you have all this stuff is up here. Okay. So first thing is work out. That's right. Make sure you work out. Why? It's because you have to relieve yourself, and that just allow yourself to feel less stressful, and you get your brain and your body starting to function like it's supposed to. Your body and brain is made to protect you. But if you don't do the things that you need to do to allow it to protect you, then a flip side would happen. It'll start to work against you. So working out is very important. As you know, if you follow me, I do that. I'm very faithful with it, and I stay consistent on at least 3 to 4 times a week. Okay. Working out is very important. Now, 2, make sure you are eating well. Make sure you're eating good food. You cannot drink sodas all day, energy drinks all day, and then you feel down and you think that's going to give you energy. No, you get energy from eating good food, by working out, because that's what your body needs. Your body needs food. Your body needs liquids. So you need to put the good things into your body so you can start feeling good. Also, you need to start understanding to take good mental information in. Now, for me, I am very faithful in my calling, and I love my faith. I believe in God who sent Jesus. So let's get that clear. I don't impose that on you. I just want you to understand what I stand for. So I always find my principles and my values and how I live life and why I live life is from the Bible. And I make sure that I practice those things. It's not easy, but it's good to be able to have a guideline on how to live life and how to function through life. One of the proverbs that I had today is those who are diligent in their effort will rule all, but those who are sortful, will be forced to labor. And all that I was saying is that you need to understand how to be more diligent in your work. And being more diligent in your work, if you know me, I'm a very outgoing person, and I'm not great at details all the time. And I know that. So I have to focus in to make sure that I'm more detail oriented and doing more detailed work. So that's why it's hard for me. But also I understand that is something I have to keep working on every single day. It's my personal responsibilities It's my personal responsibility, no one else's, okay? Now, the mental illness, it leads to depression, anxiety, and suicide. And recently, if we've had a celebrity of Kate Spade. She was a designer of the handbags, and I've seen some phone cases where people will have Kate Spade designs, but she's mostly known for her design bags. Well, she committed suicide, and this is a lady who had it all, and she had all the money that she needed. She just was this famous person, and a lot of celebrities have been committing suicide, and it gets me to ask myself, what is their self-talk? What are they telling themselves? And here is something that Brene Brown, who is a very, very famous author, pointed out about when it comes to famous people that we do not need to forget. Okay? So she said the news of these deaths is a crucial reminder about the reality of depression and anxiety, and about the dangerous story that we make up of those successful people who do not know anything about pain and never need help. I say dangerously because they're never true. So what Brene Brown is basically saying is that for successful people, we think that they don't go through pain or they don't need any help. And that is such a lie. Every human being goes through pain. Every human being goes through struggle. Every human being have things that they need to work on to get better. Now, this lady, according to her story that I've read so far, is they said typically she didn't want to tell people that she needed help is because she didn't want to give off this image of like this happy person is actually struggling mentally. So she chose to keep it inside and did not tell anybody. And this is exactly all the things that can cause mental illness, is because we want to please everyone else. We want to make it seem like everything is okay and that nothing is wrong with us. And so we hold it all inside and we don't tell anybody. We don't tell anybody we need any help. And these are the things that if you keep inside for so long, you're going to explode. And I hate it. I hate it that it ended up leading to people taking their lives. And I do not wish that for anybody. And that's exactly why I continue to do this for men who are out there who are leading their family and who want to understand what are the things that I need to do as a better husband to be more connected with my family, my kids. And even for the women out there who understand, like, I just need someone to be able to vent to talk to understand, like, look, I'm going through something right now, man. I just need to be heard, or I need somebody to hear me out and understand what I'm going through, have empathy for me. And that is that's why it's very, very important to just reach out to say I need help. And that's why we're here at this community, is to be able to build a community of people who believe the importance of have a healthy, a growth mind, a positive self-talk, and to practice that every single day. Because when you practice that every day and you act on what you're practicing, you become more courageous about who you are and what you're doing. So what's going on, Franklin? So that's important to be able to hit on. So what did we hit on so far? So I hit on unlikely events. We talked about the distant future, and then we talked about mental illness and how that is so important to make sure that you are asking for help and doing the thing that you need to do, like we listed. Now, next week, I'm going to have a doctor. That's right. I'm going to have a doctor I'm going to interview him. I'm going to ask her more about, what are the things that we need to do. And I'm going to have it come out of her mouth. Her name is Dr. Catherine Anderson, and she worked with people who struggle with depression, who struggle with anxiety, and she diagnoses them and she makes sure, hey, what is going on right now? And what are the things that we can do to make you better? So I want you to make sure you share this with one person and just let me know if this was helpful information that you can chew on. And what are the things that we need to do to continue to make you come here and be involved with us so that we can be an encouragement to you and be an assistance with you. Excuse me. And so before we go, I got a good buddy of mine, Franklin. What's going on, buddy? So thank you for joining. Make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube, or like this page. Every Tuesday, I'm going to have things coming out. Next Tuesday, like I said, I have the doctor coming in and we're going to ask questions. So if you're curious, or you may be that person who struggle with depression or anxiety from time to time, or you have to hold it all in, come back, ask the doctor questions. That's why she'll be here. But other than that, we'll be here helping you understand what are the things you need to do and why you need to take action on, those unlikely events, understanding how to process them, how the distant future is coming, and what you can do to make a difference in the lives of others, and why and how that sometimes lead to mental illness when we don't take the necessary steps. So, replay this, go back, listen to it again, share it with one person, and always, as you know, I want you to ask that real important question: what's your self-talk?